Hello everyone, it's Veronica. Welcome to Eternal Creations Designs, and I am going to do some more here with the September bargain bead box, and we're going to do a necklace and a bracelet. So I just wanted to give you the items that we're going to use and of course the tools. So right here we have, this is the strawberry quartz pendant, and I've chose to do this side. Okay, we have also the filigree here, and I'm going to show you that I've put on more of those beautiful flat back 4mm. So we have 4 for that. I have some jump rings. I'm also going to be using some of my rose gold stainless steel chain here. Okay, and I'm not sure of the exact amount just yet, but I did cut off 2 3-link pieces just to start with. We're going to use the hessonite garnet. I've already made one of the connectors here, and of course the flat back. Let's see if I can get that. Well, that's the flat back right there. Okay, and we're going to be using the 4mm bicones that came in there, the crystal faceted. Those are actually pretty good, and I noticed that the holes aren't that sharp, so these are better made bicones than what we normally would get. So I'm really happy with that because the holes aren't sharp. They're actually kind of, as you can see, hopefully you can see, they're more rounded, so they've been, that sharp edges have been, I guess, buffed out or something. So I'm excited about that. Now I do have some of my bronze Toho 15-0s here. I'm not sure if I'm going to use those yet, but I have them there. And for the bracelet, there I have some of these. Where are they? Oh, these actually came in a previous bargain bead box. As you can see, it's worn, so I'm not sure exactly when these came in, but they are just beautiful, and they are quite substantial in their weight. And as you can see, the hole goes down through that way. And on these filigree, I have put one, I have glued on one of those hessonite garnets there, and we're going to be using the Loctite super glue here, and this is the ultra gel. I've already made some dangles for that. We're going to be using the 5mm natural freshwater shell beads. Okay, let's see if we can see. They do have some shimmer in there, the shine that comes through. And also the bicones for these as well. I'm not sure exactly how many we're going to use yet, because once we get them connected, I want to measure them. Okay, so we are going to be using 26 gauge wire. I have it in gold. I do not have it in an antique copper. So we are going to use it in gold, which I like making jewelry with some mixed metals. Kind of gives it dimension. We're going to use a 22 gauge antique copper. And like I said, we're going to use this cable chain. I just think this is so pretty because it's just nice and flat. And as you can see, how you'll have 3 that are one size, and then there's one that's a little bit larger. Okay, all right, so what I want to do is start with the necklace. So I'm going to get everything here out of the way, and we'll work on the necklace, and then we'll come back and work on the bracelet. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, so what we're going to do is start with putting on the rhinestone here. So right in the center, yes, it is an open hole, but if you put little tiny drops around that edge, you can then place your rhinestone on there. Now you can use tiny tweezers, you can use your tools, you can use your this is the 2-in-1 crimp. I call it a 3-in-1 or 4-in-1, for at least for me, because I use it for multiple purposes. You will also need your flush cutters, your round nose pliers, and a ruler. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use these. If this becomes a problem, I'll try another tool. So I'm going to come in a little closer. And you're going to take your glue. Now, as you can see, whoops, with this glue, you have these two things here. And you want to squeeze gently with this and control your pieces, or your little drops of glue. So I'm going to try my best here. So I'm going to control that. And just squeeze, don't go crazy. Just watch it come out. And you don't want to get a lot, because then it'll just creep up on the side of your rhinestone. And we definitely don't want that, because then it'll give it more of a cloudy look. All right, so I should have enough on there. Then I'm just going to set that down and carefully take one of the rhinestones and make sure you can drop it on there, and before it dries, get it nice and centered. And just give it a little push. And that should dry fairly quickly. So as you can see, it sits right on there, and you'll have a little glue in the back, but you won't see that because it's going to be towards the back anyway. So it's not like a whole lot. All right. And we'll do that one more time. Move that out of the way. Again, you can control that by just gently squeezing, watching for that gel to come out. Okay. Let's put that down, and then grab another one of just make sure your tool doesn't get in there, or your tweezers, because then it'll stick to your tweezers, and your gem will stick to that as well. So we don't want that. And again, try to get it as centered as possible. And you have that on there. Okay, I just think that this is just, if you look at all the beautiful colors in there. In fact, this color is, because it's predominantly that beautiful teal, and I just think teal goes with so many, but this is called Green Volcano, and it is what's called the SS16, which is a 3.8 to 4.0 millimeter. Okay, and I got them here, so I'll try to remember to leave the link in the description box if you're interested in getting that brand. But they're like all over the internet. You can find them all over Amazon as well. Okay, so from here, and again, they should be at least sturdy enough where you can start working. Okay. All right, let's come back out. Make sure you put your cap back on. Okay. Now from here, these are going to be like this. Okay, so I want to make sure that I get the right side that I'm looking for. Yes, so it's going to go this way. Now, as you can see that the hole, you can see right through it. So I decided what I'm going to do is take a jump ring, and then I'm going to connect the 3-link. Just make sure that they're flat. So as you can see, it lays nice and flat. And the same thing with the other side. Okay. All right. So just take your tools that you would use. I'm using my bent nose and my 2-in-1. And I'm going to take a jump ring. I've already opened some of these. So I'm going to take it on one side, and I'm going to come through here, and then I want to grab that so that I know that it's flat. Okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and close that. All right. Okay, and now as you can see, you lay it back down. Just lay it back down here. And now I'm going to take another jump ring. Now these are my 4mm. If you don't have those, 5 is good if you have those. And then I'm going to come through, and then I'm going to make sure that this is going to be facing front. So I'm going to go ahead and put that jump ring in there. But I want to make sure I have enough room to get that in there. So if I have to open it just a little bit more, and then I'm going to drop that in there. Okay. And then come in and close that. Okay. So it's going to be like that. All right, and that's the way I want it. So these should lay flat, okay? These should lay flat. So we're going to go ahead and do the other side. And you can get that right on there. Maybe I should open it just a wee bit more. I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. And then I want to take that and I'm going to close that. All right. So you can lay it back down to make sure that it's straight. Okay. All right, so as you can see, you want to make sure it's straight and not twisted the other way, because then you'll start to see that your jump rings are going to look uneven, okay? So we'll go ahead and take another jump ring. And I just want to make sure that's open just a wee bit more. If I can see it, it's so tiny. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. It's stuck on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put that on. Come come in and give it a nice close. All right, so this is what we have so far. And you'll be able to feel it when you go to grab it to make sure that you know that it's laying flat. Okay. Okay. All right, so this is what we have so far. All right, let me come back out. All right, so now I want to put here this one before we connect the next one. And so what I'm going to do is show you how to make one of these here with the 26 gauge, and then we'll go ahead and connect both sides, and then we'll go from there, because I think from there it's going to be more on the fly. I just wanted to get the main part of the necklace together. I just think it is so pretty with having all these sparkles in there, with the hessonite garnet, with my flat back rhinestones, and I just, you know, I like sparkles, so I know some of you have subscribed, and I so appreciate it. Thank you so much that have come over here from other channels, that have seen my work on other channels, so I appreciate it very much. And, you know, go ahead and share my videos, because I really want to grow this channel, because I have lots of things that I want to work on. And again, some of you may have seen my announcement on a different channel there regarding resin. I have ideas that I'd like to make, little components and jewelry pieces that are just really pretty and sparkly and stuff like that with resin. And because it can be fun, it can be just amazing what you can create with resin. And because it's lightweight with like the UV resin, you'll be able to incorporate those into your pieces without adding heavy weight to it, which I think is amazing. So and I just really think it's nice. So you can still even get metallic look without actually having metals, with, you know, like with the mica powders and things like that. It's just really, really amazing, all the stuff in there. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do this. We'll connect that, and then we'll go from there. So let me get those other pieces out. All right. All right, so I have the hessonite garnet and the 4mm bicone, and I just want to take a piece. You could probably go about 3 inches. Oops. And it's so thin you could actually use your finger to straighten that out and give it, you know, some hardness. You work harden it by doing that and straightening it out. And I am waiting right now, as I'm making this, for my, it's called a double flush cutter. So what's good about that is I can make jump rings where I don't have to go in, cut one side, and then flip the tool over and clip the other side so that both sides are, you know, flush just by that. This one will actually cut both sides flush. So I'm really excited about that. So you come in here and do about a 90 degree. And then with these, just make sure that your loops are the same as for both of your components here. So I placed mine here where I mark mine. Let me come in. So where I mark mine, that's where I'm going to make my loop. Okay, so I'm going to come around right on there, shift my nose, and then just come up so you get your little loop. You can keep that in there because it's thin, and then you can just come around and do about 3 wraps. So if it gets too small, just bring in your tools. Sorry. So bring in your tool and do about 3 wraps. 3 good solid wraps. Okay. So right there. All right, and this is where you can add on your hessonite garden. The reason why I'm using the 26 gauge is because I tried to use the 20 gauge and some of the hessonite fits on the 20 gauge. Okay, and I'm not cutting off that tip just yet because I want to get the other side done, and then I can come in and snip off the extra wire that's sticking out. So yeah, the 20 gauge does not want to go through all of the hessonite beads, and I don't want to try to shove it on there and try to do a loop of some sort that might end up cracking the bead. So I'd rather not. So I'll use something more delicate. Same thing, and in this case, you don't really need your round nose pliers to go in and bend it over that, because when you take that and you bend, hold on your beads, you want to keep your loops in the same direction. See, when you bend over, you still get that, you still get a little bit of space, and which is pretty much the same size as if you had gone in and used the teeniest part of your round nose pliers. So I'm going to line it up with my mark. Okay. I'm going to come over. And the reason why you want these consistent in size is because you're going to have your loops, you're going to have your connection on both sides of your necklace, and you don't want one longer than the other side, because then that will make for an uneven necklace. So we'll come up, and there's your little loop. Okay, and now that gets a little wobbly because it's very thin wire. So just try to get it as straight as possible. And then you're going to come around. Okay, I think what I need to do here, sorry, I'm just going to take a look at it because I need to, I just want to make sure it's up against that. All right, there. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap. Oh my. See, this is the problem with thin wire. Just got to be careful, okay? And you'll be able to straighten all that out. And you'll see as we can get right into that last spot there to make that third full wrap. Okay, and then you can just take this, see where it's a little crooked, and straighten that out gently. And now we can come in and snip these off, and then we'll be able to straighten everything out. Okay, so I want to come in here, and I'll tuck that in. Okay, come from this side. Just be careful not to cut anything else. And I use a container to put all my any of my copper wire in, because at some point you can always recycle that, or you turn it in and you get some money for it. Oops, I got something on there. I think that was, yeah, I had a little bit of extra glue on there when I was putting something else together. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck that in. Now, if you had thicker wire here, like a 20 gauge, it doesn't take that long. It's just because these are so delicate, they move around and everything gets crooked. Okay, so you can actually take a look and you can see that they are the exact same size. Okay? And this way you can, when you put them on your necklace, you'll know that they are going to be even on both sides of your necklace. Now, if you have any problems, now I know that my loops are the same, but sometimes you might find that these beads are the problem with their size. Okay, because we know according to the hessonite garnet, it could be 3 point something. It's in between, you know, 3.5 to 3 point or to a 4.0. So let's see, where does it say? Yeah, see, it could be 3 to 4 millimeter. That's why this could be a problem if there's a slight difference. But I know that my loops are exactly the same size. So let's hope that the variation isn't different. So again, just make sure everything's straightened out. You want your loops going the same way. Okay. All right, and this one I have to straighten out a little bit more. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is, I think, let me see, one seems a little slightly bigger. Yeah, see, that hessonite looks a little bit larger than the other one. So that could be the problem. But I'm not worried about that, because I think with something that slight, it's not going to be a huge deal. All right, so now that we have both of these that I had made previously with my, we're going to bring back in this. We're going to connect these with our jump rings. All right, so we'll need 2 on each side. Again, take that here. We're going to slip that on. So I hope that, because I know this is the time of year everybody's shopping for the holidays coming up, especially, you know, people celebrate Christmas and things like that, want to buy gifts for their friends. So as I'm starting to see the uptick in the views on channels that do jewelry and or have discount codes and things like that. And I do want to let you know that I will be doing some demonstration on some really cool stuff for, you know, for resin work that we are going to incorporate into jewelry. And look out for anything that hopefully I can save you some money if you decide to purchase anything. Okay, so we got that together now. I think that just looks so cute. Let's come back out for a second. Yes. Ooh, it's so pretty. All right, so let's go ahead and open up another one. You know what? I got this glue on here. It's driving me crazy. Okay. So, oops, sorry, I hit the camera, guys, sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. Close that up. We're going to add another one. Oh boy, let's see. Once you get it on, after you got it all straight, it's not going to be an issue. It's just when you're trying to make it and it keeps swinging around in circles. Okay, we'll put that on there. All right. Here it is. Okay. All right, so now, oh, I think that is just so cute. All right, so from here is, you know, this is where I'm going to try to decide whether I want to use tiger tail part of the way to add some beads, or just connect a chain, or make a couple more components and then add the chain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide on that, and I'll be right back in a flash. But so far, this is just so pretty, and I love this like vintage look to it, and a lot of the vintage style is coming back. I just think it is absolutely gorgeous. And you know, when you just get that beautiful sparkle that's not overwhelming, but yet still, you know, it takes your breath away when you see something that's just pretty, and you know, and you just don't know how to express it except to go something like that, you know. All right, so let me figure that out and I'll be right back. All right, so here I have I just took some of the tiger tail and I used the brown, that chocolate brown that I have. You can use regular, it doesn't matter if you don't have that color. It's not essential, or it's not important that you have that color. Okay, so what I did was I took 11 of the bicones and 10 of the hessonite garnet, and I just made a little extension here. And I'm laying this out like this because once I get everything connected, I can then measure it. I kind of want this to be about a 17-inch necklace, which is the reason why I don't have the choice of my clasp just yet. So I may just go with the toggles that came in there because they are relatively small, or I may decide to make one for this necklace. And so we'll just decide that when that time comes. So, but if you don't have this particular box, but you have similar shapes and stuff in your findings, then, you know, you can certainly make this, because technique is, you know, usually what people want to find out how they can connect their components and things like that while they're using different shapes and sizes. All right, so with this, I'm just going to clip off, oh, you know, just probably about 5 inches. It's not exact. It's just so that I can get one end cinched up here. So I am going to take one of my crimp beads, okay? And I want to make sure, let me come in close. So the crimp bead, because I know sometimes it can slip, and you'll end up having more on one side than the other. So I want to try to get this right in the center. So if you look, you can try to get it in the center of that bead before you squash. So I'm hoping that you can see that. I want to try it not to the side, not to the other side, but in the center. And hopefully that'll work out. Well, at least it's more center than it was in one of my previous projects. And this way, then you can go ahead and put on your little clamshell tip here. And I am going to clip a little bit of that, cut a little bit of that off because I don't want it sticking outside of that clamshell. So I can come in and just give it a little snip. And then just to make sure that that bead is lined up at the bottom. And then go ahead and close that. And so that's nice and closed up. And then we're just going to go ahead and add the beads. And again, remember what I said about the other end. When we are using, we'll have to use two tools in order to get that other bead inside that clamshell. And like I said, when it comes to that end, you want to make sure that you open that up a little bit more so that your tool can have access to that little crimp bead. Okay, so let me just move this out of the way. Let's bring these in. Okay, so I'm starting with the bicone just like this here. So essentially that's what it's going to look like here. It's really pretty and it gives it that beautiful sparkle. And I just love the champagne and a wine color, you know, like the garnet, or even the carnelian. Is it the carnelian? Yeah. The carnelian even looks good with like this champagne color of, you know, bicones or, you know, AB finish rounds and faceted rounds and things like that. So it's just essentially, you know, these garnets, the holes are so hard to find. So that's essentially it here until we get to the end. See, you can't even find it. I'm going to try to fast forward through this on the screen. I have when I edit the video and stuff like that, because this is just, it's almost like torture and trying to watch, not only do it, but watch somebody try to get their bead on a string. It's crazy. But I suppose it's the weekend, at least while I'm recording this. So if you're watching on the weekend, maybe you have a little extra time and not worry about it so much. All right, well, I'm going to do the rest of this off of camera. I'll be right back. All right, so here I am. I have it on here. Now, the one thing that I did here, if you notice, is to make sure that the clamshells on each end are facing the same way so that they're not, you know, so they're both laying flat, okay? So I want to try to do the same thing here. So whatever direction you find this in is going to be how you're going to crimp your bead, because then your clamshell is going to have to clamp around that while it goes and sits at the bottom of that clamshell. So this is, again, where we're going to take two tools here. So I want to add this on here first, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and add on our little crimp bead. And I know it's hard to see with the gold and gold. It's hard to see that. So I'm going to try to come in. And so I want to see how this is facing. It seems to want to fall in that direction, which means I want to take the crimp bead and squish it like that. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to do it in that direction. So again, you want to get it centered. Let me get it up in the tool at least. It's not always easy to grab. hold on. Let me maybe push it up the wire so I'm going to grab a hold of it. I don't know how people, honestly, some people find this very easy. I know Wendy did this no problem. And no matter how many times I do this, I can never just go in and crimp it real quick and it's all done. It just never works for me. All right. So I know some people will find it much easier. I just want to make sure I get it inside. Okay, so now, see how the bottom one is facing? I want this to be facing the same way. So I want to make sure that it is in the center, and I know that's not that easy to see. I'm going to squash. Okay, so that should be good. It's center. Now I want to snip some of that off, of course. Thank you for your patience, everyone. But again, the struggles that us, when you're creating something, is part of the journey, honestly. And to know that, again, you're not alone when you create your stuff. And I know some people, I don't know, when you watch videos, just know that if you're watching like a TikTok or any of those videos that seem to be only, 30 seconds long or 15 seconds long, that's not reality. Like for this, I mean, you can see how long it's taking to do this. Just know it's worth the effort, and don't get discouraged, and don't feel like these people pump out a bracelet in 30 seconds. That's just not what happens. So the reality is for us that want to share this journey and the struggles and the mistakes that we make is all part of that. Okay, so here we go. And again, they should be even in their size, but if any of these beads are slightly bigger in any way, it is going to make a difference slightly in the length. But I see that, and it's almost unnoticeable, but they are this exact same size, which is nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is bring back the necklace in. Let's come back out. And I want to attach these, okay? To each end. And we're going to use those jump rings. And then I'm going to bring in the rose gold, because rose gold is very similar, if not almost identical, as raw copper. And again, because this is a copper, but this is antiqued, just that combination of the gold, the rose gold, and the antique copper, to me, is just beautiful. It gives it depth, and, just that, I don't know what you want to call it, just a depth and different, doesn't look flat. You know what I mean? I think y'all know what I mean. I don't know. I just, what's great about artists is we see things in the way we see things. And if we can translate that into how we make our jewelry or whatever, whether it's painting, any kind of art, look at the painters. It's, their view on how they see things is what they're trying to get through onto their canvas. You know what I mean? And so with jewelry, our canvas is our little beading mat or the piece itself. We want it to come out in the way that we perceive that in our mind. Sometimes it comes out better than what's in our mind, and sometimes not at all, and sometimes worse than what's in our mind. It's just, in fact, with these, I was trying to design something different, and it was such a great idea. no doubt. But what happened was I wanted them to be stacked and have like 3 on the top, 2, and then 2 coming this way. And it just, I would end up having to use all these jump rings and or chains. And I'm like, you know what, it's just not going to come out the way that I had it in my head. I think what I'll do is, because I really love these and I want to purchase some more, is I'm going to work with it. It's going to take a while, and I'm going to work with seeing if I can get it in that way. Then I'll be able to do it on a tutorial, but I just could not get it to look the way I wanted it to without the too many jump rings or things that were kind of overwhelming the filigree pieces. So yeah, so I kind of trashed that idea. All right. So let's get this side on. And I don't know. I think that with what's going on and the things that I see happening is that people, and I actually hear it from those that I work with. I actually get to see different students that go to this college, okay? And so I speak with a lot of them, and a lot of them, and now these are young kids in college, are telling me that they are more into, they're becoming more attracted to those videos and or, whatever, of people that are more real. They're not looking for that gimmicky or clickbaity titles and things like that. So, and that's one thing I've always wanted to do. I couldn't stand, and I cannot stand clickbait titles, and, the clickbait face look on there, everybody looking surprised, and it just ends up being this dull content. I would rather have a nice title and have everything that is in, that you see on the thumbnail or whatever, that is going to be the actual content, and you don't feel like you've been tricked into watching a video. Because I've done that, where you click on something, and then the content is nothing at all what the title tells you. Not at all. And in some cases, it's so far beyond what their title was, and that's clickbait. So, and I do not want to do that to any of my viewers. I want you to know that whatever it is that you are going to see on a thumbnail or the title is what you're going to get. And I take that very seriously. And more so now that I hear the young students and things like that talking about that, because I think they're figuring out too. They don't want to be duped into watching something or purchasing something because of this, you gotta buy now, or look at my video, you're not gonna believe this. And it just ends up being some like, I even see it in the jewelry videos. It's like, you don't need to do that. Like, if your stuff is good, you don't need to have some clickbait title. And that's just me. And I hope that, you guys out there would understand that we're just trying to get back to being real, living in reality, not having to live by clickbait titles that just, not just title, but it just something that's going to draw you in falsely. And I don't like that. I want to be honest. Like I said, I want to be true to what it is that I do, give the information and knowledge and pass that on. So that people can be successful in what they want to do. Some people want to make jewelry and have a successful business. Some may just want to just do it. For me, I don't know where it's going to go. I'm just going to let the Lord take care of that. But if somebody really is interested in creating their own business with it, well, I want to be able to pass on the knowledge, especially when it comes to metals that will tarnish if they are not sealed properly, so that you can have repeat customers. And oh my goodness, this is just so pretty. All right, so now I want to measure this to see, oh wow, this is pretty. I want to see how much chain I'm going to need and the toggle. Okay, because like I said, I kind of want this right around 17 inches, because this will sit right at my sternum. I don't like anything being hidden away under my t-shirt or under a shirt that, you know, that sometimes your necklace will fall under and stuff like that. So let me measure this and I'll grab this size chain that we need. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back and we're going to finish this off and then we'll get a bracelet together. Hopefully that'll be relatively quick. So what I did was I took the stainless steel rose gold plated, and these are about 1 and 1.75 each, okay? And then with the toggle, it's going to be a little over 17 inches. So I measured this at 13.5. Let me just double check that again because I wanted to make sure that I had 2 of the larger loops at the end of these. And then, of course, you got to count in for the jump rings and the toggle. So, yeah, this is about 13.5, which only leaves 3.5 inches left over to make it 17 inches. So, with these, it will make it 17, but then you have your toggle and a couple of your jump rings here. Now, what I'd like to do is have the jump rings on here, but be able to connect them to the end of these. And I kind of maybe not want to do that. Or just, let me just add a jump ring to it. Let's go from there. Okay, so let's get the tools to open these up. I know I work with like really tiny things a lot. All right, so let me bring this in. Hold on 1 second. It's not doing it for me. I want to bring it in not quite so much. Let's see if I do this. Maybe that'll be better. All right, so let me move this out. All right, then we're going to connect these here. I'm going to put the bigger end down here. So they're going to go at, all right. I hope that's coming in because I know the camera every once in a while wants to focus more on the background than the foreground. All right, same thing, the other side. So the bigger loop there, because you'll see it's 3 and 1 larger, and then you can see that larger one, and then the 3, and so on it goes. Okay, so let's do this. A wee bit more. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and add the toggle and yeah, I don't want to risk, I mean, it is stainless steel. I don't know. Yeah, I'll do it like this for now. If I want to change it, I will. I'll change it later. one more. Oh, this is going to be so pretty. It's just so pretty. That strawberry quartz, and it's the 27 millimeter. So if you guys do not have this subscription box from Bargain Bead Box, you can go to their website, the sister site, which is the Beadbox Bargains, if you're interested in getting any of the parts or pieces or whatever is for sale separately, because they are things that you can get that have been in the subscription box. So if you're interested in that, you can go there. The prices are phenomenal. Now, if you are a subscriber, you can get 30% off for your purchase for the entire month, and even to the end of the next month. So a lot of times that coupon you can use anytime, all the time, for the next month and a half. Because when you get your box, it's usually anywhere from, maybe, it depends, I guess. Some people might get it earlier, but most people get it sometime after the 10th. So that coupon is good until the end of that month, but then it gets extended into the following month because of your next shipment isn't going to get to you. So it can be used all the time, anytime, and as much as you want throughout that time. And yeah, so if you're a subscriber, it'll let you know when it is good until. And then that will change with the next subscription box. All right, let's come back out here. And let's see what we have. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, this definitely has a beautiful vintage look to it. I am very pleased. I just love these colors. Okay, I just want to make sure that. Okay. So, oh my goodness. And there you have that. All right, so why don't we get to the bracelet, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and I decided to change what I originally thought I was going to do. So I'm not going to be using the natural shell. So we're just going to go ahead and use those beautiful spacer beads. I just love them. So we're going to just use the garnet. So I wanted to do just a couple of wraps just to remind you that it is a little bit easier with a thicker wire. So it is a 22 gauge because, of course, the 20 gauge will not fit through all of the garnet holes. The holes are not the same in every garnet. Okay. So you're just going to take your 22 gauge, and again, take about... we're going to go ahead and just straighten it out because you're going to work harden it too. That helps when it's a little bit of a softer wire. Okay. And I'm just going to cut about 4 inches, 4.5 inches. It's way more than I need for this. Oh, and by the way, I got it in the mail. Yay. This is the flush cutter on both sides. So I wouldn't have to turn my... Here, let me show you. In fact, I'm just going to cut. Oops, see that? Both flush ends. You don't get a pinched end on one side and a flush on the other. So I don't have to turn my tool over. So this is good for that. Now, if I make jump rings, I have to make sure that my jump rings are spread apart, because I like to come from, instead of coming to the coils this way, I want to try to come through the top, because I don't want to grab onto the other coils. And I'll demonstrate that at one point. But anyway, so let's get back to this. So you're going to take your round nose pliers. You're going to go down about 1/3, okay? You're just going to bend that and go to your mark. Make your loop. Shift your round nose pliers, and then you're going to shimmy it up, okay? So you get your loop. And then from here, you're going to just hold on to it gently. You don't want to mar up your wires. You can always use painter's tape. Hold on, I forgot. You can always use painter's tape to line it here on both sides if you're worried about it. It takes some practice so that you don't have a death grip on your wire. If I feel like I'm just not having a good day, I'm just going to go ahead and put that the painter's tape so that I don't mar up my wire, because sometimes I just have a stronger grip than other days. So 3 full turns. Okay, then we're going to snip that. Snip it right there. And I'll tuck that in afterward. As you can see, I didn't struggle so much with making that loop. And we want to make sure that we can get these beads together and oops. Okay, it doesn't want to. What is it? Oh, sorry, guys. There it is. So you want to make sure that all your beads are down, because that'll sit nicely. It'll sit nicely right in there, okay? You want to make sure your loops are going the same way. You can just look at that loop. This one, you can use the very tip. Make sure it's down. Okay, just use the very tip. That should be enough to get 3 wraps around. Bend that over. And your round nose. Bring it to your mark. And then you're going to shift it. Gently hold. And then turn. I have plenty in here, so I'm just going to wrap it like this. If you have enough, you could take it and then don't even worry about. Okay. Because it'll just loop up like that. I just know that I'm not going to use all that afterward. Like I said, sometimes when you cut it, you'll end up cutting more than you actually need. Let's see if I need to trim a little bit more. All right, and then we can go ahead and tuck that in. Same thing with the other side. So I'll just tuck them in after, because if I try to tuck it in when the other side isn't secure, it just wants to spin around on you. So that's just a little tip. So we just want to make sure our loops are the same way. And I'll do that one more time. So I have a couple of people had asked me, or actually a woman had asked me, for me to make 3 bracelets. One for her, one for her daughter, and one for her niece. So I have all the materials, and I'm debating on whether I should do one on tutorial. If not, it's because it is time sensitive. She's actually looking for it very soon. And so I want to make sure that I get it done and not have to be doing that and editing on video, pausing and all that. I just want to get it done. But I will show you the finished product, that's for sure. All right, so losing my tools, talking and trying to find my tools at the same time. Okay, so bend that over. Come around, shift that up, and then shift that upwards so it becomes another 90 degrees. Okay. Keep losing my tools. All right, now whoops. And then we can put this together. Okay, now what I did was let me just show you. So what I did was, like I said, I put these on there and then I turned it over because I realized, you know what, maybe I want a little extra security. In there, I just put another drop of glue, so that should really hold this in place. Okay, so not just on here. Now this is excellent glue, but you know, if that gets knocked or anything, I would rather have that extra security by putting a little extra glue in the back. Okay, so just in case you wonder if you need a little extra security on that, make sure your loops are going the same way. And you can always straighten them out because they get a little cockeyed when you're doing this. Okay, so I want to make sure that my go to just the very tip. Just want to see if I need to shift that up. Sometimes you don't need to. You'll end up getting a good circle and you don't have to shift it upward. All right, so I got a lot on here, so I can really just give it a good wrap. Okay. Sometimes they will go flying, but I can't always reach it to hold it in place. So, but I do have glasses on. But if you are somebody who doesn't wear glasses, wear some safety goggles so you don't get any of that in your eye. All right, so we have our 4 here. I'm hoping that we're going to have the right measurement. If not, all right, so if it's too big, I don't know. So hopefully that'll be it. That's why I decided to, I want to use this tiny little clasp here. It's the 10 by 7 that came in the bargain bead box. And then just to use a little 4mm to get everything together because it's really, really small. I don't have any 3mm, but I just want to use the smallest ones I have, and let's see where it goes. All right, so let's put it together. I'm going to put a couple of these links together, and then I'll just do the rest off the video. All right, so hopefully that's the opening. Yes. Let's see if I can come in a little closer. Okay. All right, let's see. It's going to go this way. And we're going to put that on, and then this one. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these together, and then I'll come back. We'll put the clasp on and our danglies, but I definitely want to measure it and see how big it is, because it's definitely one that I wouldn't mind hanging down in this area. So we'll see. All right, I'll be right back. All right, back here to finish it off. I'm going to put on the clasp. Whoops. Would have to open up the jump ring. All right, let's see. Now, this is a stainless steel clasp that came in, and these are my stainless steel jump rings that are 18 karat gold plated. But I always seal these. So I'm gonna work on getting a video to put on my channel here, okay, to show how to seal and protect your metals. I have done it for the Homestrung Jewelry channel on YouTube, and it's got 4,200 views right now, and that's amazing for that channel. So if you go over there and if you're interested in doing that, instead of waiting for me to get it done here, by all means go over there and check that video out and give it a thumbs up and share it to your friends if they are also jewelry makers that want to learn how to protect the metals, because I know that for years I've seen questions go into people to, I don't want to name the companies, but those who sell their metals, and they ask them, how can we prevent it from, you know, tarnishing and smelling really bad and all that. And they just would come back and say, well, we don't know what to tell you. Just use a buffing cloth or something like that. I'm like, that's crazy. And, you know, when I heard that and it was like nobody was getting an answer, that's when I decided to do my own research and just went into everything that I could find out. And I just came up with my own little formula that works, and based off the sealant itself, because it's self-leveling. However, that whatever you use it on, it adheres to that. So that brought me back to thinking, well, if you have oils and dirt and whatnot on your metals, well, that would need to get cleaned off. And by that, the best thing you can use to get any of that stuff off your metals is to use denatured alcohol. You definitely have to use gloves for that, because that strips. It truly strips. You'll see white marks on your hands and stuff like that. It's not permanent, but you'll know that it's literally stripping your fingers of all that oil, so much so that it turns your skin white. So yeah. So I'll probably do something. More than likely, I'll do something for this channel, my channel, Okay, so it is something that is so amazing for those who want to get repeat customers. So I will have that done and get it up for you so you can see that. And like I said, if you don't want to wait, go to the Homestrung Jewelry YouTube channel and you can watch it there. In fact, I'll try to remember to leave a link to that actual video. If I don't, just know, because my brain goes a mile a minute and I do tend to forget something sometimes. So I will try my best to get, if I mention that I'm going to leave something in the description box below, I'm going to try my best to get everything into that list, okay, into the description box. All right, so this is what we have. And I put it around my wrist and it seems to be a beautiful fit. So I just want to kind of measure it, because what I want to do is, let's come back out. What I'd like to do, oops. So now it's at 8 inches, but you have to know that because these don't bend, then it's gonna kind of protrude outwards, which means it's gonna take up space. It's almost like if you had a big bead, and that big bead then would go upward, which then takes up the space around your wrist. So this kind of is doing the same thing because these don't bend. Now, if you want to curve these, kind of like that, curve it a little, I think that would be a good thing. In fact, I'm going to try to do that right now. Just make sure you're curving it in the direction that is going to follow the pattern, okay? So you can just gently do it. You don't need to go crazy. And so I'm going to do the same thing here. And here. Just make sure it's going in the right direction though, okay? So yeah, so you just get a little curve, and that might help it when you bring it around. So let's see, what do we got here? So yeah. So really all I need is to get, I don't even want to use this size jump ring, because I know that this will fit in here, but I think maybe I'll just use a 4mm because I want it to be delicate and I don't need all that extra space. So let's just try that. Hopefully that's the opening. These are so well made, it's hard to tell the opening. So that is going to be my clasp right there. All right, and now we can go ahead and put on, I made a jump ring, but I made it into an oval. So I want to try that, because you can make some oval rings too, because I wanted to try my new tool out. So I'm thinking, again, I'll put it up more towards the clasp. So I think what I'll do is I'll hang it on, you know what, I'll put the things on first, obviously. And then I'm going to go with obviously with the curve hanging down, and then go into that loop. And then close it back up. And let's see, I'll try to get this on. So it'll take some finagling when you go to put it on, because everything, you know, likes to twist and turn. 1 second. All right, so I got it on. It was a little struggle because of the tiny 4mm. So I think I will change it over to my 6mm. This way it's easier to grab. So that's it. I think it's really, really pretty, and it's got that sparkle, and it's not too crazy busy. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you the necklace, and I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, it is here. I am going to need to make a couple adjustments because I guess it pulls, so which means it starts to flip these, which means it probably does need to be a little bit longer. So I think what I'll do is I'll just add a couple of jump rings in here, because then it's relaxed. Because like I said, I don't have some skinny neck, and plus you know, this will stick to your skin if you're just even a little sweaty. But isn't that just so pretty? Look at that. I think it is so gorgeous. So yeah, if this just pulls a little bit, it'll flip it. So I'm going to add a couple of jump rings on each side. But yeah, I think that is just so pretty and so vintage looking. And I love vintage. So I think that is so pretty. And again, you get that nice little shimmer with those beautiful rhinestones there. And then your sparkle right here. Look at that sparkle here. I just love sparkle, and it's so pretty. I love that vintage look. And then, of course, you have your beautiful bracelet. I think that's so pretty as well. So everyone, I hope that you have a blessed night. Thank you so much for your patience and sticking with me in this video. And I hope that you were inspired and to be able to know that you can do this. And the rewards are amazing. So your end product is something that is something we all look forward to. And if it's not what you look forward to, it's okay. You can take it apart. Just take it apart and try again. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? So everyone, be blessed. I love you. The Lord loves you. And we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.